the first to know Nsem-Pii TV.
Last week, NIA said the Justice Puamine Committee, a 5-member investigative committee, President Mahama Apao Omo into Justice Torkonoo case no Omotenase no mhia last week near the Osu Castle. Now, lawyers of the petitioners omukopie mu wo ho lawyer Tsatsu Chikata, legal luminary, and a lawyer Taudos Sorry, and a lawyer Baka Oliver Vomawo. Now petitioners are presenting Mr. Daniel Ofori, Shining Stars, and a ACP Ayamga, because ono ye lawyer no or represented no. Now ene yede interview be na Ebremo Justice Atuguba, William Atuguba, and a joy for NNA Edi in Komo, heading into 5-member investigative committee. Omejumedia President Mahama Apao Musomungeno Omoye. Now, we break silence kakra. And then you could see interview. The interview no very relevant. They say, oh shit, the profile of Justice William Atuguba was served as an acting Chief Justice from 2016-2017 during His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo Abrɛso, and Sana or the appointed Justice Sophia Akufo-Addo Chief Justice. The Obeka about Justice Torkonoo play a massive role in the opinion of the investigative committee. Omuntimi ignore asama Justice William Atuguba. Justice William Atuguba, Justice William Anam Atuguba, beginning as magistrate judge from 1974. Awaye Juma as a private lawyer, prosecutor, state attorney, and son as Supreme Court only an appointment by former president, the late Jerry John Rawlings in 1995. And from 1995 until the early 2000s and stuff, not aware or Supreme Court. Now, judicial leadership, Chief Justice on multiple occasions in 2016 and 2017. Years of service in the judiciary, over 44 years, with nearly 23 years at the Supreme Court. Obia was acting as Chief Justice. Obia was spending over 2 decades at the Supreme Court. Oba be concerned about the removal of Justice Torkonoo, a 5-member investigative committee, omo mbona asem njungu, omo debate a legal basis because a Supreme Court judge na ekasa. Na ye pusa certain questions. I pese the brami we are the interview no beso so. Na a feed into 3 weeks certain Justice Torkonoo ebe attended with the investigative committee on and lawyers. Already the 4 allegations are lawyer Tsatsu Chikata and the board Justice Torkonoo Aba. Now question number 1. Does he have an issue or issue with the removal of the Chief Justice? First question I'm say Chief Justice Torkonoo as quiet in a faso serving as Chief Justice in 2016-2017. Personally, what is his opinion on the matter? And all here references me, Also, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the new patriotic party government by Commission of Human Rights and Administrative Justice through the similar process, through consultation with the Council of State. Then, Electoral Commissioner Charlotte saying so through the same process. So, what is special about Chief Justice Torkonoo? State comment on the 200. Justice William Anam Atuguba in some occasions. What is special about Chief Justice Torkonoo based on acquiring omofasu Electoral Commissioner Charlotte say, based on acquiring omofasu Commissioner of Human Rights and Administrative Justice head, because the same process in consultation with the Council of State and one a President Mahama Faso. Until who are those crying for? Chief Justice, former Chief Justice, and the Kasano. Now, Obibeka say Chief Justice we Nsem-Pii does that mean that or aligning with a certain political party? And a brief history shows During 2013 presidential election petitions, Onono presiding over the case. Time his opposition leader, former president Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, challenging election results. Supreme Court now holding President John Dramani Mahama as president. Ono and a presiding judge also Supreme Court, Justice William Atuguba. Now, we play pivotal role on Ghana's legal landscape in the cases on constitutional interpretation and governance. Second question, sir. Obusai journalist ni busa and say na the way President Mahama eka say unanimous FC Chief Justice and Supreme Court na done unanimous FC no, doesn't it feed into kwanya ordinary faso sisi and say ya dia it say obo no to ho and wa prepare ni so oba begin no inti sa kwan no so I know say when I talk about na Babeka reply or the man and yet President Mahama Nkwane ka say unanimous FC na other members of Ghanaian public and the cancer assembly na President Mahama and so then anuko boom. Former Chief Justice William Atuguba also any President Mahama na sha say worker na other members of Ghanaian populace Ghanaians aka say unanimous FC 70 ni de kaka ho enya ade a ede etwekwem inti President Mahama Nkwane intimi holding accountable say enunti no dey be Chief Justice get protocol inti we ultimately say we here legal basis investigative committee ni lawyer Chachuchi Kata lawyer Todio sorry one of the judicial commenter betima reference during the time more addressing Justice Gertrude Torkonoo our 5-member investigative committee. Now final process okay say na Council of State member be Sophia Ekufu ono so why Supreme Court judge that eka say ekwan omode constitution ma ho kwan for the removal of the Chief Justice. It's so simple, it's so easy. Say prima facie, once a president and who prima facie with the consultation of Council of State, no facts are quite so no. And yet fair, na yes a constitutional review committee or maintenance no money who be found. And I'll say, or who said there are 3 arms of government: executive, president, and executive, that's the president, legislature led by Speaker of Parliament, and the judiciary head by the Chief Justice. Na you require a team faso di president, you require a team faso di from Parliament, and as Speaker of Parliament, so you require a team faso di Sa so the Chief Justice so your team require a faso di into bia a team face require a faso di a constitution into more a big particular equine na onunkwa yentimi ngino na onunkwa wabon ho ban because we ye dwuma the people of Ghana apache say who create a society of chaos. And Justice William Atuguba Nsem-Pii auditor ho as a retired Supreme Court judge, a retired Chief Justice lawyer Chachuchi Kata area can ni petitions from lawyer Todo sorry area can ni petitions from heading into the 5-member committee in there. Ultimately say there lawyers of Gertrude Torkonoo ebenya a very, very difficult situation to deal with. One got into the main allegations of lawyer Chachuchi Kata, but a kwanya President Mahama Eddie Justice Gertrude Torkonoo Efasono and yes answer bisa another Chief Justice, former Chief Justice, new opinion, somebody with over 44 years at the judiciary, over 23 years at the Supreme Court. A junior warfare this monumental removal of the Chief Justice. Yango tie audio no ye bia ya hwe se enye bosilemu kan bi ne yeka na ampampa Justice William Atuguba Nsem-Pii we no kan heading into the 5-member committee this week. Assistant Bioma Betna ye among by say this week on Beshia no castle and as a different location. lawyers of Justice Torkonoo Kasa, what's most Nsem-Pii TV. You ever born to find them. If you go to Justice William Atuguba, then some of Kafa the removal of Chief Justice. Yaba near to us.
It's being pursued. That's why I'm saying the Constitution itself is unfair. If it is, who is to blame? The whole society put it in place. If it's to be amended. And why suddenly these notions of unfairness and so forth? Because it has been there all these years. And the allied provisions have been applied in relation to the former chairperson of the Shiraj,
right,
and the Electoral Commission.
The Electoral Commission.
These are similar processes, and I mean, they were seen as due constitutional processes. So, what is so special about this? I don't know.
Yeah. You do not think that the president has erred in any way?
Oh no, except probably. At the beginning, the impression was that I think he wasn't given copies of the petitions or whatever.
Yes.
But that was done subsequently. And,
but the way and manner in which it was done, did the president offend the law by not getting her to understand the issues that were against her before she had the opportunity to respond?
Oh, I don't quite get that, because all that is necessary is to serve her with copies of the petition. And there you see the allegations leveled against you, and then you start your responses. Then in consultation with the Council of State, they put the two together and see whether there's any worthwhile matter to pursue. So I think she herself asked for 7 days.
Right.
But the president gave her 9 days.
Actually 10 days.
10 days. So what is unfair there?
The argument here, and if you can help us to understand it, the judiciary is an arm of government.
Yes.
So is the executive and the legislature.
Yeah.
Those who are against what is happening now and they are saying that it is persecution rather than the law at play, say that an attempt by one arm of government, in this case the executive, to remove another arm, the judiciary, is unhealthy for our democracy.
Well, yes, separation of powers, but there are checks and balances also. If every arm is self-sufficient, where would the balance come from? It means everybody can be a dictator in his or her field. And there'll be rancor. We used to hold things in place. I
quench that thirst.
Burberry Hero, the new Parfum Intense.
The president nominates the Chief Justice in consultation with the Council of State with approval of Parliament. Those are the initial stages. I don't know why. Well, of course, when things happen after legal provisions have been put in place, you now see that maybe some other alternatives could have been pursued. But we are talking strictly of the separation of powers. You'll find the president is elected, he is the head of the executive. But he can be removed from office by Parliament.
Right.
It's a legislative arm. Are we saying that there's anything? Now, if you overpower one arm, you make it all in all, tyranny is not far away. Yeah, because you can't make inroads. Yeah, and people tend to be used to their own terrain.
Right.
And want to enter there naturally meet resistance. So they're saying that the Constitution should have placed the removal in the hands of the judges themselves, or what? I mean,
but is it? I mean, the Constitution is clear under what circumstances a Chief Justice can be removed.
Yes.
And the President in this case is only a conveyor belt.
Yeah.
But some people on the other side find it offensive because they make reference to comments that were made by some elements of the NDC, including the President, when he said in opposition that there was a need to reset the judiciary. And they see that the reset agenda is what is playing out now. And the first casualty is the Chief Justice, even though finality is just to be brought on her matter.
Yeah, what's wrong with it? If the question is not whether something was said at one time or another, it is the basis of what was said. Well, what is proper and right at any time remains so. So, was it only the President? I think some of you people came here and talked about some of these matters. Was it the President who started calling the Supreme Court unanimous FC on social media?
Yes, exactly.
It was
President Mahama.
Yes. Was he the one who started calling the Supreme Court unanimous FC? Or he was stating a fact of public knowledge? It was a public outcry. And I said here before that the courts belong to the people. And that's where I find trouble with people who get power. You look at the Constitution, everybody's a trustee on behalf of the people. Article 1, Clause 1. The sovereignty of Ghana resides in the people of Ghana, in whose name and for whose welfare the powers of government are to be exercised in a manner and within the limits laid down in this Constitution. So, no matter who you are, the powers vested in you belong to the people. They are the sovereign power of the country. You are answerable to them. It is for their welfare and interests that the powers have been given to you. And now let's look at 34.1. The directive principles of state policy contained in this chapter shall guide all citizens, Parliament, the President, the Judiciary, the Council of State, the Cabinet, political parties, and other bodies and persons in applying or interpreting this Constitution or any other law, and in taking and implementing any policy decisions for the establishment of a just and free society. This is the golden thread that runs through all powers.
Right.
So they are all accountable to the people. And everybody, when you look at the directive principles, I don't need to go through, but they're all designed to obtain the maximum interests and welfare of the people who are the sovereigns of the state. You go to 125, Article 125, Clause 1. Justice emanates from the people and shall be administered in the name of the Republic by the judiciary which shall be independent and subject only to this Constitution. So, justice emanates from the people, and the judiciary is to administer it for and on their behalf. So they are trustees of that power on behalf of the people. And clause 1, Article 1, clause 1 says all powers are to be exercised for the welfare and interest of the people. And so everything in the state belongs to the people. As far as public ownership is concerned. And so are all the institutions of government. And that's why judicial proceedings, even as a constitutional provision and at common law, are to be held in public. Only in exceptional cases, they can hold proceedings in camera. Very limited situations. Otherwise,
mostly even at the discretion of the Chief Justice.
Yes, the court is itself, the court sitting on the case, they determine. And now, why do they say the proceedings must be in public? Because the courts belong to the public. And they want the people to be in there and see how justice is dispensed. Whether it's satisfactorily dispensed or unsatisfactorily. And for them to take appropriate remedial actions. That is it.
This particular matter, and I've heard the former Chief Justice of Ayakufu.
Yes.
This process to review our constitution.
Yes.
So you made the Constitutional Review Committee.
Yeah.
And she makes the point that the process that is enshrined in the Constitution, the roadmap for the removal of a Chief Justice, is unfair. That is unfair, and that something must be done. Some of us suggested that the threshold is so low that it leaves room for manipulation by an executive president. I don't know what you make of this.
Oh, I don't know what threshold, because when you look at Article 1466 or so, relating to the removal of other Superior Court judges, and Shiraj, so for allied, they require a prima facie case. And that's what was imported into the Chief Justice removal process by Ajay an Attorney General case. Prima facie case is acceptable in the common law world. Even in criminal trials, it obtains. At the close of the case for the prosecution, there's no prima facie case. The accused is to be acquitted.